The project has great positioning. 250 Radnor, Chester Road is a great location in the area. The building itself had a previous medical use. That means it had good bones, it had good structure, it had good capacity, which allowed itself to be a really good candidate for a conversion from its previous use to life science use.
Our experience with NORR was terrific. The team from the very beginning, especially Kyle, just understood the project and had a great vision for it, and more importantly, executed on it. It was a very complicated project. It was a building that was built in the early 60s that was expanded over time. It was not user-friendly, pedestrian-friendly to walk through, and you had to change all that.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we saw this building, it was clear that there was a story to be told here. You know, this building had a history, it had a life that came before us, and it was a building that some might have looked at and thought, you know, there was no more life in this building, but in our mind there was another chapter here. You know, when you think about life science conversion buildings, this had all the guts, the bones were there. You know, it had the high floor to floor, it had really deep, usable, flexible space. We just had to do a little digging, a little surgery to sort of pull that out of it. So, you know, our job was to think about reimagining this space and think about what it was used for, you know, years ago, and bringing it back to life for modern day sort of research and development space.
And what they did was they took elements of the architecture that exists today, didn't really try to challenge it, so it was kind of that mid-century modern look, and really brought that to today's architectural standards, and probably is, quite frankly, one of our most appealing buildings within Radnor today.
Life science tenants require more robust infrastructure. They require greater levels of electricity, greater levels of HVAC, and they require more backup systems from the electrical side, generator capacity, than a typical office would.
It just resonates with a lot of the user groups, a lot of the community. It's very different than the other architecture that's been located around here, and it's just welcoming, it's inviting. It brought in a lot of light into a very challenged building structure. They built a skylight through the center of it in a very long, narrow space that just changed your sense of arrival. The presence of it was just very different afterwards, and people drive by and we get calls just from the design to say, what's going on in there? It's really, they like it. So that's the most you can ask for.